It is match number 3 of this India tour of Australia, the third ODI. Australia lead the ODI series 2-0. They've sealed it. They're also ahead in the multi-format series 4-0. But here we are on the Outside View Live to build up to the final ODI. Will India be able to level the series and stop Australia's winning streak, or will Australia continue to extend it? These are all we'll discuss. But as we said yesterday, the 5th issue of the Women's Cricket Zone magazine is out. So you can head over to the website, womenscrickzone.com, and download your copy. And yes, Shafali Verma is on the cover, and we will get to building up to this final ODI with Ananya Upendran as well as Karuna Jain. Welcome to the both of you. Let's start with you, Karuna. India are chasing this time. Australia have won the toss and opted to bat first. Your first thoughts on that?
Well, I think starting off a good note, ideally we would have wanted to do this, though we've lost the toss. But hopefully the result will be on our side as expected this time at least.
Ananya, Mithali and her luck with tosses still kind of not having a friendly equation there. I think she practiced it in England for that final ODI and won that toss. I don't think we saw videos of her practicing on Australia. So that might be one of the issues. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the toss has been one of her issues throughout her career. I think she's said it herself that every time she wins a toss, she makes sure she does the same routine when she goes out. So hopefully she's been changing her routine this time. But it's like, I mean, Meg Lanning, I think, needs Mithali Raj to win a toss. Otherwise, she never wins a toss herself. So either way, Australia will be happy.
Right, Australia batting first. They have 2 changes. Rachel Haynes, the vice captain, returns to the 11. She'd missed the second game after being injured in the nets. And Stella Campbell makes her debut. # Team Pesarin Ananya Upendran. How happy are you to see Campbell in that 11 for Australia?
I'm really happy. I mean, she did get 3 wickets in that practice game and seemed to have ruffled up a lot of the Indian batters. We did hear that, she bowled at a fair clip, a very awkward length. She's a very tall bowler. So, bangs it in short of a length and gets the ball to rise awkwardly. So it's pretty much a like-for-like replacement for someone like Darcy Brown, who again in that first ODI kind of ruffled up the Indians with her short pitch bowling. So thrilled to see her in the 11 and interested to see how she goes, because again, she's not as accurate as someone like Darcy Brown. So she could leak a fair few runs, but she may just scare a few batters out.
Indeed. And talking about India's 11, there's one change. Sneh Rana is back in that 11. No Poonam Yadav. Karuna, your first thoughts on that?
See, I think one of the advantages is being an all-rounder. She can also contribute with the bat. And of course, the fielding aspect as well come into picture in terms of this. But again, if you got to see, I think there's a lot of mix and match happening in the setup of teams. And ideally, I think, the basic picture, what I can see is, giving more number of games and see who comes in good. So hopefully she'll contribute not only with the ball, but again with the bat as well. So, yeah.
You think that move has something to do with India's batting? I mean, we saw them score 274 in that second game. But now adding Sneh Rana to the mix kind of strengthens their batting. Could that be the focus, or is Poonam Yadav's form a bit of an issue?
Well, I think its form would surely come into consideration. But again, as Mithali, before the series, she already put it out openly that all the players will be given, the right amount of opportunities, keeping the World Cup in mind. And again, once the combination is out, I think it's good enough to give her a go again. After the first ODI being dropped in the second one, I think it's better to, give her another opportunity and, get her to perform. Yeah.
India will be bowling first, Ananya. Perhaps the conditions might, you'd think that because it's, from what we hear, the same track as in the second ODI, chances are that it could slow down as the game progresses. In that backdrop, Sneh Rana over someone like another seamer in Shikha Pandey, or your thoughts on how that team 11 looks like for India in that final ODI?
I mean, happy to see Sneh Rana back in, like Karuna Jain said. It's kind of like you bring in an all-rounder, strengthen your batting, but you're also giving her a fair chance, because I don't think she bowled that badly in the first ODI to get dropped. for the second. So happy to see her back in. And, we did hear in the second ODI that the pitch report where Elise Villani said that there are cracks and they're likely to open up. But of course, we didn't see that under lights when Dew came into play. It looked like the track quickened up a little bit. So maybe with the sun overhead, this is a day game. There's a possibility that the track will slow down as the game progresses. And that will probably bring in someone like Rana, like Deepti Sharma, like Rajeshwari Gaikwad. But again, Australia are the ones bowling second. So how much of an issue that will be in the first innings is, of course, another question.
Yeah, indeed, that Indian 11 looks very strong. Their batting, as I mentioned, looks quite extended with Sneh Rana's presence as well. But Karuna, I would like to pick your brains on Richa Ghosh's wicket-keeping. You've donned the gloves. Given that this is Richa Ghosh's first ODI series for India, how do you think has she done with the gloves, especially in Australia?
Fairly, I think the first impression is with the glove work. Initially, when you look at a keeper, it's always a glove work, and she's really good with the gloves. And knowing that she's only 17 years old, coming from Bengal, having the backing of your senior players and everything going in her favor, I think she's really good, and a long way to go for her. Yes.
Given that India seem to be looking for a wicketkeeper who can bat, in fact, contribute more with the bat, how do you kind of see that matchup between Richa Ghosh and Tanya Bhatia, especially for the 50-over format, given the World Cups in the horizon?
See, the only difference I see is, the confidence. I think Richa Ghosh is fearless in terms, if you're comparing in terms of Tanya. I think, that's the only fear factor is the thing as well. Apart from that, in the glove work, yes, she's really good. So backing up with the batting abilities, I think the coach and the captain as well has just given her a free flow. You just go play a normal game, and that's what she's showcasing. Given any situation, she doesn't really bother where she's walking in and what situation she's walking in. But I think consistently delivering in 2 games has been crucial, important 30-40 odd runs. And if she can carry the same form onto the next couple of games and onto the World Cup, I think it will surely make a difference, because I think after a very long time, we're getting a keeper who's been contributing with the glove and the bat. Yes, it was a bit of a mismatch in her glove work, but again, she's inexperienced. I think that will surely, come down to playing a lot of matches, and she'll gain confidence and get going from here on.
Yeah, Ananya, Karuna mentioned about the inexperience factor. We saw that come into play in that last over in the second ODI, where Richa Ghosh collected the throw well from the deep in that first ball of the last over, but then kind of had a go at the stumps and then conceded an overthrow. You think these things will be playing on her mind, given that she's one, inexperienced, and two, there's not been a big turnaround between these last 2 games?
Well, what little I've seen of her, I don't think it will bother her too much. She is someone who kind of starts afresh very quickly. And Smriti Mandana said this on the sidelines as well, that Richa Ghosh seems to come in with the temperament or with the experience of someone who's much, much older, a 24, 25-year-old. So, she's been in the domestic circuit for a while, hasn't kept for Bengal in the senior team much. But these are things that she'll learn from. She is a fast learner from what we've seen in her international career. She's learned quickly how to score runs, how to read the play and things like that. So I'm sure with the gloves she will learn as well, because we saw her in that South Africa series in March. She wasn't even half as good as she is now with the gloves. So there is a rapid improvement, and the more she keeps, I'm sure the better she'll get.
Yeah, indeed. And the third ODI, we're talking about building up to the third ODI. It's Australia who won the toss yet again. They are batting first. Rachel Haynes returns after that wonderful 90-odd she scored in that first ODI. And Ananya, India have so far in this series struggled to get the Australian opener not named Alyssa Healy out. And Haynes' return probably doesn't make matters easier for the Indian bowlers.
Yeah, well, to put it in simple terms, they haven't been able to get the left-hand opener out, so whoever that is. So maybe Australia should consider sending Nicola Carey up the order. She may just get 100. But, all jokes aside, I think Haynes in that first ODI was I think she played the perfect perfect opening knock for Australia. She kind of played second fiddle to Alyssa Healy while she was going all guns blazing, and then picked up the pace when Healy got out. So, how India will bowl to her, I'm not sure. Look, both she and Mooney proved that they're very good against the short ball, and I feel like India in that second ODI probably overused that short ball tactic, especially against someone like Beth Mooney, who's quick on the pull shot. So I hope India have learned from that. I mean, someone like Meghna Singh again proved that she's able to learn quickly. She brought in the off cutter with the new ball in the second game, got a couple to straighten to complement her outswingers. So those are things that, hopefully India have kind of put their plans together for this game. And if not, I think with someone like Rachel Haynes, you want to get her out early because she's someone who, once she gets set, is very, very difficult to dislodge, a little like Mithali Raj, just that the pace of scoring is a lot higher.
Yeah, indeed. Meghna Singh has been impressive in the 2 ODIs she's played so far. Wicketless in the first, but got rid of Meg Lanning for her maiden international wicket. Karuna, how have you, your assessment on Meghna? Because as I said, she's worked over someone like Meg Lanning in that second ODI wonderfully.
See, ideally, coming into the Indian setup, I think is one of the important, crucial things for her personally and for the team as well. But again, knowing Jhulan Goswami doesn't have one particular bowler who she's been bowling at tandem, in a couple of games. Again, she's been, having a different lot of partners. But again, given the opportunity, yes, she has the capability and trying to grab every opportunity given away. But again, Sudarshan, I think one important aspect I would like to touch upon is the ability for the players to execute the planning, what has been planned in the dressing room. And that is what has been quite lacking. And the second part is, of course, the experience. If these two come in hand in the next couple of games, wherever the series we are going to play, I think it will surely make a difference, leading into the World Cup. So executing the plans, what you have planned in the dressing room, get it on the ground. I think that will surely make a difference.
Indeed. But the third seamer's role, and in fact, after the England tour, when Ramesh Pawar said that the pace unit has to be kind of increased for India, Ananya, it seemed as if in that England tour, as well as now in the Australian tour, Pooja Vastrakar seems to be India's number 3 seamer, especially given the fact that she contributes more than handily with the bat. How has she done in your assessment? Because I think at different points in the second ODI, we felt that she bowled much more than she should have. So in that sense, are India using her well, or you'd rather see her more with the bat and lesser with the ball?
Look, I think it's a bit of a give and take. Personally, I feel like Pooja Vastrakar is probably a much better batter than she is a bowler. And her stats in domestic cricket and international cricket prove that. I mean, 8 ODIs, she's gotten one wicket, which she got in the previous game. So, look, she has, I think, the word that a lot of people use around Pooja Vastrakar is potential. So there's a lot of potential there to, be a lead seamer or even the third seamer for India in the years to come. But she's had a lot of issues with injuries. She's had a lot of issues, I think, especially with her bowling in terms of just finding consistency with the ball. So, ideally you'd want to bowl her more so that she gains that experience, so that she understands, 1, how to get wickets, 2, how to bowl in different conditions, different situations. But then on the other hand, do you want that to come at the cost of a game is another question altogether. So I think with India, they have to kind of find the balance, especially with Pooja Vastrakar. But I think, she definitely should be in the 11 because she's one of those impact batters that could, potentially alongside Richa Ghosh be a finisher with the bat. So for me, even if she's not bowling her 10 overs, you need her in that batting lineup. And she also does give you a cushion of bowling maybe 4 or 5 overs on a good day. So I think right now, early in Pooja's career, they need to find a balance of how much they make her bowl. And also, it's also about managing her ahead of the World Cup.
Indeed. Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Karuna, she's missed the first game, then brought in the second, had a good spell towards the end of that innings. Pressure on her, you think, because she's the only one who kind of now in this 11 takes the ball away from a right-hander. So how important is her role, and you think she'll kind of feel it more now, given that there's no Poonam Yadav today?
See, ideally, I think one of the things backing her is the experience and the ability to deliver when she's needed to be delivered. And again, she's always done well. It's one of day that she's not delivered, but considering the fact that she'll not have, a backup or a senior player, I think, people playing around her, in terms of Deepthi or a Sneha Rana is going to play a very crucial role, because Rajeshwari is always delivered. I think, someone bowling in tandem, bowling in partnership is going to be crucial. But again, her role is going to be crucial. I mean, every role of hers has been very crucial in all the times. Yeah.
We talk about batting depth when we are talking about the Indian 11 with Sneha Rana's presence. But Ananya, looking at that Australian 11, it seems almost tailor-made, that batting lineup, because they've kind of listed Sophie Molyneux at 10 and Stella Campbell at 11. And the fact that they are batting first, it seems that we well might see a day of runs.
Yeah, I think the only pure bowler in that lineup is Stella Campbell. I mean, they've brought in Annabelle Sutherland as well. So I think that's a huge addition. Bats at number 4 or 5 for Victoria. So these are all top order batters who are occupying the lower positions for Australia. So it's a very scary batting lineup. And we've said this, through, I think, over the last couple of years, how much they've evolved. How many young players have kind of stepped into the system and been able to deliver quickly. So it's a very scary lineup. I feel like and we saw in the previous ODI, even though they were 52 for 4 chasing 270, the fact that they got anywhere close, forget even one, was just, beyond my imagination. I think, 90% of the teams in women's cricket, 52 for 4 chasing 270, you wouldn't get anywhere close. So Australia have scary depth with the bat, and I'm keen to see how much they go. I feel like they're probably going to be targeting 300 at least. So let's see how the Indians react, I think.
That second ODI was almost like the captains have a wish and the team delivering, because ahead of that, Mithali Raj had spoken about the lack of runs from Smriti Mandhana. She replied with an 86. And Meg Lanning on air said that Australia will be comfortable chasing 90 or in that last 10. They had to chase 87, which they did. Right, minutes to go before that first ball in that final ODI. Will India come back? As I said, it's remember 26th of September. Australia have won 26 successive games. Will that streak end today? But anybody's guess. But I'm going to put Karuna Jain in a spot. Karuna, first of all, your prediction for Australia's score in that first innings. Where do you see them kind of finish at the end of 50 overs or bowled out?
Well, I'm hoping the winning streak ends today. First thing is that. And secondly, nothing beyond 220 or 240. Crossing fingers, they don't go beyond that. Yeah.
220, 240. Anybody in India would like that. And who do you kind of pick to be the star of the first half for India as well as perhaps for Australia?
I think it's either going to be Julan or Rajeshwari for us. Yes.
Right. Ananya, your pick for the performer of the first innings?
I don't want to pick anyone because I'll probably jinx them. I'm going to go with an Australian and say Ashley Gardner is going to finish the innings very well.
Indeed. And given that Karuna has said 240, you would want others to fail, because if Gardner's there in the middle finishing the innings, you'd rather, more often than not, it's a case of them posting a very huge score. Right, there you go. 240, the predicted score is from Karuna Jain. Let's see where it goes. Australia are batting first. It's the final ODI of the series. Remember, it's the multi-format series. ODI is followed by that one-off pink ball test match and three T20Is. Australia are leading the series 2-0. They have 4 points in their kitty. India have yet to open their accounts. Will those scenarios change today? We'll find that out and also catch you in the mid-match show. But remember, Shefali Verma is on the cover of the 5th issue of the Women's Cricket Zone magazine. So do download it, have your copy, and let us know which stories you liked. What all other aspects you like in that 5th, our newest edition of the Women's Cricket Zone magazine. Right? We'll see you on the Outside You live in the mid-match show. Till then, take care and enjoy the first half.